Respected brothers and sisters, one of the biggest blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the blessing of concise speech. Now, what does that mean? What is concise speech? That means that he was able to say very few words, but they had a lot of meaning behind them. For example, when Mu'adh radiallahu anh asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam for a piece of advice, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told him three statements. First, fear Allah wherever you are, and follow a bad deed with a good deed, and it will erase it. And treat all people with good manners. Three statements that summarize the entire deen. The entirety of Islam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to summarize in three statements. So that's what concise speech means. The ability to say very little, but it means a lot. Now the hadith that I'm going to be talking about today is not three statements. It's only three words. And if we all apply these three words in all of our relationships, the parent with the child with the parent, the brother with the sister and the sister with the brother, the teacher with the student and the student with the teacher, in every single one of our relationships, then inshallah bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, these relationships will be a means for us to enter Jannah. What is this hadith? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Al-mu'min mir'atul mu'min. Or in another narration, Al-mu'min mir'atu akhi. The believer is the mirror of another believer. Or the believer is the mirror of his fellow brother. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says the word mirror, we need to take it exactly as he said it. So if he said mirror, he means mirror. He doesn't mean a photo. He doesn't mean an image, not a photocopy, no other word, no synonym. He meant the word mirror. So why did he choose this word? Inshallah, I'm going to go over the characteristics of the mirror. And these things are all characteristics that we should apply in all of our relationships. Now, the first characteristic of the mirror is that the mirror does not lie. When I go in front of the mirror and I'm wearing a nice white thobe, if I have a stain right here, the mirror is going to reflect that exact stain. It's going to tell me, you have a stain right here. The stain is this size, this color, this is what the stain is. You have a stain right here. The mirror does not lie. It's not going to hide the stain. It's not going to conceal it. It's not going to cover it. It's going to show me the stain. Similarly, when we see our fellow brother or sister doing something wrong, they're committing a sin, they're deviating from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to let them know. We can't pretend that we're not seeing it. The stain is very clear. The sin is clear. We're seeing them do it. It's our responsibility to tell our brother and sister, look, you're doing this sin. You need to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't pretend that the sin is not there. You need to acknowledge it. And this leads me to my second point, that the mirror is very fragile. When you're bringing the mirror in from the car, you need to bring it into your house. You have to be careful how you hold it. If you drop it, the mirror is going to break. If you touch it a little too hard, the mirror is going to break. You even hit it with a pebble, the mirror is going to break. So when you're giving your brother or sister advice, you need to speak to them in this same regard. Be gentle with them. Speak to them in a kind manner, in a nice tone. Don't just go to them, Astaghfirullah al-Azim. How are you doing this sin? This is going to lead you to Jahannam. No. You have to be calm. Speak to them in a nice tone. Be gentle. My brother, my sister, this sin that you're doing, it's wrong. Come back to the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm here to help you. Let them know that you're there for them. Speak to them and be gentle when you're giving them advice. And on the other side, when you're the one receiving the advice, a lot of the time when someone comes up to us and they start maybe criticizing us, or they're telling us, look, you're doing something wrong, we become very defensive. It's just natural. And you get upset. Umar radiallahu anh asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on the one who shows him his faults. So if Umar radiallahu anh is doing that, then we need to follow his example. If someone comes up to you and they're telling you that you're doing something wrong, don't take it as disrespectful or take it as they're being rude to you. That means that they care for you. And you should be grateful for this person, just like Umar radiallahu anh is grateful for this person. So let's follow his example. And when someone comes and they're trying to give us advice, let's ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on this person. Now, the third characteristic of the mirror is that when I'm standing in front of the mirror, I have this stain. I'm like, okay, let me go clean this stain. I go to the laundry room, try to wipe it off a little. I come back. Now, some of the stain is gone. I was able to get some of it, but some of it is still there. The mirror is going to tell me, look, some of it's gone, but some of it is still there. But it's not going to show me the full stain because I just wiped some of it off. Similarly, you just gave this brother or sister advice, and maybe they were hitting their vape 100 times a day. Now, maybe 5 times a day. They cut it down a lot. They improve themselves. Acknowledge that. If you're going to acknowledge the bad, you also have to acknowledge the good. A lot of the times we're only there, we only call someone out when they're doing something wrong. But the second they start improving themselves, we're nowhere to be seen. Keep your brother or sister motivated. Let them know that you see them. I see you. Good job. Keep going. Motivate them to be better. Don't be the person who only calls them out when they're doing something wrong. They can't rely on you then. And if you're only calling them out when they're doing something wrong and you don't say anything when they're doing something good, they might lose that motivation and go back to what they were doing. So let them know that you see their improvements. It helps a lot. It makes them want to keep going. It makes them want to better themselves. Now, the fourth characteristic of the mirror is that the mirror does not exaggerate. If I have a stain this size, the mirror is going to reflect a stain this size. It's not going to make the stain bigger, and it's not going to make the stain smaller. It's going to reflect the exact size of the stain. So if my brother or sister is committing a minor sin, I don't blow it out of proportion. How could you be doing this? This is going to be the reason you enter Jahannam. Astaghfirullah al-Azim, you're a kafir. Brother, this is a minor sin. Treat it as a minor sin. Similarly, if they're doing a major sin, they're committing a major sin, don't just blow it off. Yeah, I mean, it's not that deep. Don't worry about it. It's okay. You'll be fine. No, if it's a major sin, you have to treat it with that level of importance. So don't make the sin greater than what it is, but also don't belittle the sin. Now, one of the most important characteristics of the mirror is that it doesn't remind you of the past. Yesterday, I wasn't wearing my best fit. My jeans had a little bit of rips in them. My shirt had a couple of stains. I wasn't looking my best. But today, alhamdulillah, I'm wearing a nice thobe. And when I stand in front of the mirror, that's all the mirror is showing me. The mirror is only showing me what I'm wearing today. It's not showing me what I was wearing yesterday. It's not going to tell me, you think you look good today? You forgot what you wore yesterday? Did you forget how ugly you looked yesterday? No, it's only going to reflect what's in front of it today. So when my brother or sister has improved themselves, they've cleaned up their act. And now not only have they cleaned up their act, but they want to maybe use their story as a means to give da'wah. And they want to help other people also clean up their act. A lot of the times what people will do, they'll go up to them, oh, you think because you improved yourself now, you can start helping other people out. You forgot where you were a couple months ago? You forgot you were getting drunk every single night? You forgot you were getting high just a couple weeks ago? Now you think you can help other people out? No. If this person has gotten back to the straight path and come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are you to stop them from giving da'wah? Who are you to tell them, no, you're not good enough? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بِئْسَ الْإِسْمُ الْفُسُوقُ بَعْدَ الْإِيمَانِ. That's once someone has come back to the faith, don't remind them of their past. Don't remind them of the times they were sinning. They don't want to remember that. And you're putting them down. When you're saying that, you're saying it from a place where you think you're higher than them just because they had made mistakes in their past. We all have made mistakes in our past. You shouldn't be judged by your past, but judged by the way you look today, by your present. When you stand in front of the mirror, there is no past. It's just the present, and it's just where you're at right now. So don't bring up the past to someone who has cleaned up their act. Another characteristic of the mirror is that if I have a little stain, the mirror will show me the stain. But it doesn't isolate the stain. It doesn't completely not show everything else and only show me the stain. It still sees the 99% that's good. One of the biggest problems that I hear that people have in their marriages, I don't have any experience, but what I'm hearing is that the husband will make a mistake one time, or there's one thing that he does that he can work on, but every other thing is perfect. But the wife picks on that one thing. What about the other 1,000 things that he's doing right for the past 20 years? Similarly, the wife messes up one time, and the husband only points out that one time and forgets all the other good that she has ever done. No, you still see the good. As Muslims, we should magnify the good instead of magnifying the bad. Focus on the good. They've done all these thousands of things of good, and you want to pick on this one thing that maybe they need to improve on. No, look at the good. Let that cover that. Let that cover that little part of them that needs improvement. Magnify the good and minimize the bad. Now, another really important characteristic of the mirror is when I stand in front of the mirror, if I'm showing the mirror the front of my outfit, it's only going to show me the front. It's not somehow going to magically show me the back. It can only reflect what I'm showing it. And if I decide to turn around and I want to show it my back and I can see it, then the mirror will show me the back. But unless I turn around, the mirror is not going to bring up the back. So when your brother or sister comes to you for advice on a certain topic, look, the other day, I lied to my mother. I need some advice. What should I do? Oh, this time you lied to your mother. Last week it was your father. The week before it was your brother. And don't forget, a couple weeks ago, you were at the club, and you start bringing up all these other things. No. They came to you for advice on this specific topic. Don't bring up anything else. If they feel comfortable enough to ask you for advice on this, don't switch up the topic, or they're not going to even want to come to you anymore. Don't bring up other things. If I'm showing you if I'm showing the mirror the front of my outfit, it's not going to show the side, it's not going to show the back, it's only going to show me the front. So only talk about the topic at hand. Respect this person's boundaries, respect them as a person. And if they decide to show you another side or to bring up another topic, then you can open that conversation. But unless they're the ones that initiate it, you're not in a place to do so. And in relationships, all types of relationships, one of the most important things that we can do is communicate. And a part of communication is listening. Communicating, and especially listening, will solve 90% of problems that you are having with another person. So when someone comes up to you and they're asking you for advice, or if you're the one receiving the advice, just listen. A lot of us, including myself, like to talk a lot. I love talking, but listening is so much more important. And listen to what other people have to say. And inshallah, that will help with your relationship. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Arguably, the most important characteristic of the mirror is that the mirror does not store the image. So in my house, my brother, he has a full-size mirror in his room, and I don't. So when he gets up, he puts on his outfit, he looks at the mirror, and then he heads to work. Then I get up, I put on my outfit, I go look at his mirror, because I don't have one, and then I head to work. Now when I go look at his mirror, the mirror only reflects my outfit. The mirror doesn't say, you should have seen what Dialda's wearing today. He looked so bad. That fit was horrible. No, the mirror is only going to reflect what I'm wearing. The mirror does not store the image. The mirror doesn't store the image of every single person that stood in front of it. Backbiting. This is one of the most prevalent problems in our society. And it happens in almost every single gathering that we have. Speaking the truth about someone behind their back. Someone came to you, they asked you for advice, they told you a sin that they were committing, or maybe you're just close to them, you know their personal matters. Look, Ahmed, he told me not to tell you, he told me not to tell anyone, but I'm going to tell you, just don't tell anyone, okay? You've betrayed their trust. You're backbiting. Oh, I could say it to his face. He's not here right now. Say it to his face. Don't tell me. Backbiting is one of the most dangerous sins that we can commit, especially with our phones. We don't even have to be in a gathering with actual people. We could just be texting about someone, and that's backbiting. They're not there in that conversation. They're not in the thread. Social media, these are all just different ways to backbite. It's becoming so easy to fall into this sin. And on the day of judgment, you're gonna be standing there, and there's gonna be a line of people in front of you. All these people are people that you have talked about behind their back. And they're gonna tell you, I need 5,000 hasanat, 20,000 hasanat. There's no USD, there's no euros on the day of judgment. The currency is hasanat and sayyi'at. And you're gonna have to give this person that you probably don't like because you were talking badly about them, the most important thing to you on the most important day of your life. Hasanat. The thing that you cherish the most, the thing that you can't even give your mother, you're gonna be giving it to someone that you probably don't like on a golden platter. Here you go. Is it worth it? And when we're in these gatherings where backbiting is taking place, you're hanging out with a couple of guys, couple of friends, and they start talking about someone who isn't there, you have to say something. Look, this brother is not here, this sister is not here. Let's not talk about them right now. And if they continue to talk about this person, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and you gotta go. Because if you stay there, nod your head, you don't even have to be saying anything, but you don't stand up to what's wrong, you are just as responsible as the people who are backbiting this person. And this leads me to my next point, choosing the right mirror. When you go to the store to get a mirror, you're not gonna pick a mirror that's cracked. Or once you've gotten the mirror, you're not gonna leave it dirty, you're not gonna let it get spots, you're gonna consistently be cleaning it. You wanna make sure that it's reflecting the right image. Because if the mirror is dirty, it's not gonna reflect the right image. Similarly, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are not on the same page as you, who do not want to get closer to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you stand in front of them, if the mirror is shattered or the mirror just has a couple of spots on it, it's not gonna tell you the truth. If I have a stain here and a stain here, but the mirror isn't clean, I might not see those stains. Or I might see additional stains that aren't even there, but it's reflecting a dirtier image than the actual image. The importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. If you go to check what your outfit looks like in front of a dirty mirror, it's gonna show you that your outfit is dirty, but it's really not. So when you go to ask someone for advice, and they're not the best person to get advice from, the advice that you're gonna get from this person is not gonna be the right advice. There's a famous Arabic saying that translates to, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. It's the people that you surround yourself with make you. Wherever they go, you go. If they're going to clubs and parties and hanging out with the wrong people, you're gonna go to clubs and parties and hang out with the wrong people. But if they're the people of the Masjid, they always come here, they're reading the Quran, they're always trying to increase their knowledge, then you're gonna be coming to the Masjid more often. You're gonna be reading the Quran, and you're gonna be increasing your knowledge. So the people that you surround yourself with, they're gonna make you. So when you're choosing a mirror, choose a clean mirror. Nothing with a couple of marks on it, and constantly clean your mirror. Make sure that it's always clean. Lastly, the mirror does not differentiate. It doesn't care who's standing in front of it. White, black, Arab, non-Arab, fat, skinny, poor, rich. The mirror doesn't care. The mirror is gonna reflect the image in front of it regardless. So when we're looking at people, a lot of us immediately judge them just based off of what we can see. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that the best among you is the one with the most taqwa. And that is the only thing that we should be basing people on. Nothing else. And this is a big problem when it comes to marriage. When someone approaches your child, they have the perfect deen, everything is good, but they're not from the same place that you are. How is that fair to the child? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the first thing that we should look at is the deen. Nationalism is something that has corrupted our Muslim societies. So don't base anything off of where someone is from. They can't even control that. The only thing that they can control is their deen and their taqwa. The status in this dunya does not matter. Look at Abu Lahab, Fir'aun. These people were the kings and they were the most high people in society at their time. But where are they going to be on the day of judgment? The money does not matter. The fame doesn't matter. The level in society does not matter. None of this matters on the day of judgment. It's going to be hasanat and sayyi'at. How much taqwa does this person have? That is what's important. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to surround us all with people who want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وقوموا إلى صلاتكم